Welcome back out to Field 1, and it's Women's Open Gold Medal match time. Australia taking on New Zealand again. And if we get anything like what we just saw in that mixed open game, Peter, this is going to be an amazing Women's Open final as well.
Yeah, that last final was epic, and looking forward to this on Australia. Obviously the dominant force in this grade, but I'd like to think New Zealand's going to come out and really give them some good competition. Wow, it's getting dark here.
It is getting dark. That's a really good point. We've been keeping an eye on the skies in the last match in the mixed open, but it's looking really ominous. We've seen more lightning strikes in the last 5 or so minutes here. So we're really keeping an eye on the skies. There might be a little bit of rain. Hopefully the storm side of things stays away, but there might be some rain into this match, which might throw another curveball into it as well.
Exactly. Just looking at this New Zealand lineup, they've got some great experience with Dana Turnbull, Jess Maher, some really good campaigners, Janelle Kavanagh. There's some great experience, and then you've got all the young ones coming through. They've got some Australian-based players. Really good mix of talent. I'm expecting them to do really well in this encounter.
And on the Australian side of the park, you can't go past the sisters, Emily Hennessy and Samantha Hopkins, absolutely dynamic in attack. But they strike all across the park. Ash Quinlan as well has been playing fantastic touch football over the last couple of years, makes her way back into the Australian Open side. And Kimberly Susi from the Brothers Club back in Brisbane, one of the captains as well for the Australian side. So it's going to be another fantastic match here. Every time Australia and New Zealand have come up against each other in the World Cup, the matches have been amazing. So we're just about to pause now for the national anthems of Australia and New Zealand. So just before the anthem started there, you may have seen the umbrellas in the grandstands on the other side start to go up. The rain has started now right before the tap-off of this Women's Open match. Pete, talk us through. It was dry. It's been pretty dry for the majority of the tournament. But what tactics need to come into effect now that there's rain coming?
Yeah, totally different from the last few days. I mean, we can hear thunder. We just saw lightning now. And they've had to deal with 51 degrees. And now I think we're probably down to the late 30s. So it's totally different for these players having to now, after all this heat, play in what could possibly be a wet final.
Yeah, so we have got word as well. We are keeping an eye on the weather. But as the temperature has dropped, we have reverted back to 20-minute halves. So it's back to the traditional format of the game. So again, that makes it hard. And this is where coaches really come to their forefront. Coming into a game, not knowing if you're playing quarters or 20s, you've just got to be adaptable and on the run. But the coaches really take control in moments like this, don't they?
Yes, and obviously what may happen is with this... if this rain eventuates, is that the ball's going to be slippery and wet. Their footing's going to be slippery and wet, so there's some major adjustments that need to be made.
Yeah, it's starting to get heavier out here now. So, oh wow, this really throws a spanner into the works in this Women's Open final. And teams, they're just warming up. And they've got a couple of minutes before we'll get this match underway. But pretty dominant performances from both teams working their way through the semi-finals. A fairly easy game for the Australians against Singapore. The New Zealand side, on the other hand, had a tougher battle against Japan, who had a really good tournament themselves. So it was a good semi-final for New Zealand to progress through to the gold medal match.
Yeah, and hasn't Japan come on? Their teams are all been playing really well. Their women's, their men's, some of their masters teams. Obviously with the influence of Australian coaching over there, that's what can happen with their development. I mean, they come down to State Cup for the last 5 years, so they're doing all the right things to enhance their game.
So the teams make their way onto the field. The rain is really continuing now. It's getting quite heavy. So the Australians, they come onto the field first. They've got their defensive side. It'll be New Zealand who will get us underway. There's more thunder, more lightning here, so we'll be keeping an eye out on things as well. The weather might play an effect in this match. Hopefully we can get through from the start to the finish. And it'll be Tony Wells from New Zealand who will tap off here. And it's about to be game time. Here we go.
Yeah, Tony, Australian-based player on the Gold Coast. She takes it forward.
And New Zealand, again, just taking their time, holding the football.
Yeah, sweeper play coming here. They dummy her and they run short side.
And a touch made.
And touch made in the corner, yep.
Yeah, play was allowed to continue there from referee Amanda Sheikey. So we will make mention of the referees for this match. Amanda Sheikey on field at the moment. Alicia Rotti and Ray Cairns are your officials for this match. The rain again really coming down here in Putrajaya. They throw that ball back out on the outside, but I think the Australians will be happy with their first opening set in defence.
Yeah, and I think New Zealand more had nothing on, so they thought to throw it to their sub-box just to make the Aussies travel far for the first couple of touches.
So Susie taking it forward here for the Australians. Maddock, nice drive here, Davis. They shift the ball, so they've come right across the other side of the field as what a go. He juggles the ball, streaming onto the field now. More lightning in the background. Hennessy, she's wearing the number 7. Keep an eye out for Hennessy. Here she goes. Kicks on the outside. Hennessy, and touch there. Nice work in cover from Victoria Sycamore. So Hennessy, right foot, a little bit of space in front, and Sycamore doubles up on the play. So New Zealand hold out in their first set of defence.
Yeah, let's see how they work this ball. I imagine a 2-out pass. No, it's a change-up dump there, bringing the sweep around. They've got an option on the link, hitting short. Away they go to their sub-box.
Do these conditions make it a little bit harder when they're trying to transition out and make it to their sub-box?
It certainly does, and you'd probably rather throw less passes than more passes.
So the Kiwis, as you can see, it is a little bit difficult for them on this play. That's nice run there to get over the half. They're working through now, but there's no options on the inside or outside, and they turn the ball back over. So, yeah, as we mentioned, they found it hard coming out of their end of the field there, the Kiwis.
Yep, Australia working forward now, working towards the box. See the more directness now and less passes, adjusting to this wet weather.
So Petey driving forward on that last play. McCall, the captain, is onto the field. She's wearing number 13s for the Australians. Nice drive into the line here. Davis turns to Scrooge, tries to get down low. I think the referee is happy. Yeah, he backs up to the spot. Opening touchdown here to the Australians.
Yeah, great sweeper play. Danny Davis coming around. Stopped, checked, held up, dived low, got the ball over, got down before the touch was made. 1-0 Australia.
So nice work to the Australians there, getting the opening touchdown. Now the Kiwis, they'll be looking to respond positively. We saw it quite often in that mixed open game when the Australians scored a touchdown, the Kiwis managed to hit back. They'll be no different here in the women's open match.
New Zealand working forward.
Yeah, they drive in, they're about 7 metres out from the line, coming across field, they turn it back in the inside. Having a little dive at the line there, Kavanagh.
Yeah, good defence Australia. They're in their channel, sliding well to where the ball is, and the reaction time's quick.
So Kavanagh will roll. Stanton goes in from half, sends it off. Nice footwork here. Oh, they almost get back on the outside there, Kavanagh. Working with Norman Bell on that occasion, but again, Australia, they hold out nicely there, defending their line.
Yeah, Isla Norman Bell, she's a bit of a 7-star, that girl. So she does both touch and sevens, and you can see by her agility and footwork.
As Hopkins drives up for the Aussies, now they look to shift. They come back into the middle of the field. Look at the running here from Australia. Quinlan comes left foot. It's touched the hands there of a New Zealand defender, so more pressure coming on here. 6 more touches to the Aussies. Now they've actually given a penalty away, so the tap will be taken from Maddock. Let's see what sort of plays they run here. The Australians, Carney. They're just taking the touch. They send it back infield. Susie, Carney into half. They just take their time now. The Queensland connection of My and Carney just overran it there. Maddock manages to get the ball back now. They roll, they're just short of the 5. Carney comes off the right foot, gets into the in-goal area, but nice diving touch made there from the Kiwis. That was, Colossi making the touch.
Yeah, that was good defence by New Zealand. They held them out the whole set there. It was a penalty, so they had 6 touches on their line. They slid well in their channels. They moved to where the ball was and good reactions.
So again, they're heading towards their substitution side of the field. This is better, nice metres. Now they get a little bit more progression as the subs, fresh legs rolling onto the field here for the Kiwis. They're about to roll over the halfway line. Nice straight run into the line there from Paul. They pick up and go from half, but Maddock there answers the call, shuts that play down.
Yeah, so we're in the grind now, working forwards and back. New Zealand would want to get forward and put a stop on these yards.
There's Susie. They're going direct here, the Australians, and now they look to dish. They're throwing the ball. They come back out. Petey. McCall back onto the field. Here comes some strike players for the Australians. Driving in, Dybel, kicks out Dybel, looks to connect with the link. And touch made. Might have been lucky to get away. It looked like Carney was losing possession as she was going over the line, so they hang on, the Australians, to the football. Hennessy goose stepping across the field, but they just come up, put some pressure on, and they shut the play down. So nice work there from the Kiwis.
Yes, as long as on defence the Kiwis keep moving forward and lifting off the line or from the mark, I think they'll have more chance to shut down this Aussie attack.
So again, they head sub-box side. Throw the dummy. Changes on here for New Zealand. But when they're making changes, look at the pressure coming up out of the defensive line from Australia.
Yeah, always a couple moving forward, Australia.
So again, they pick up and go from half. Turn it back on the inside, and it's juggled there. So Colossi working there with Ma. Almost created a little bit of something there, the 2 Kiwi players in the middle. But again, they go direct. It's really interesting. On the first 2 touches, Australia really going direct through the middle. Then they look to shift out to their left-hand side and make changes. So a little bit of different tactics there as they're getting out of their end of the field.
Yes, the benefit of going direct on the first ones is you get the defence going back straight away.
So Quinlan directing traffic, comes from half. They're offside here, New Zealand players. Ball down to ground, so the referee's happy that they made it back to where he was holding the onside line. So they'll roll the ball But they have done a good job, New Zealand, over the last few sets to hold Australia out, but they've got the better of the field position at the moment, Australia.
Yes, just Australia starting off on the direct yard seems to work, and they're making more metres of it. But New Zealand doing well as well. They're starting to match them now. A little bit more intensity. It's great to see.
Yeah, this is a better set. Look at them roll in here. Norman Bell comes in from half. Can she connect? Oh, it's picked off from Quinlan. Almost got her hands onto the ball. Ash Quinlan on that stage. They had numbers on the outside. If that managed to get underneath Quinlan there, it might have been on that link line coming in.
They did, and Ash Quinlan, one of the best in the world, and you can see there how when teams get stuck out on defence, they get tied. I mean, the biggest mismatch in our sport is fresh versus tied. And if you've got good sub-rotations and you're turning over regularly, then you stay fresh.
Here we go, Peter.
They've
got their opening touchdown. Yeah, diving in underneath. Sorry to cut you off. Janelle Kavanagh getting the opening touchdown there. So locked up. That's a really good response. And unfortunately, it just comes off Quinlan not being able to take that intercept in the previous set.
Yes, and just what we talked about, the fresh versus tight scenario. They went down, they went on the field for a while. They had to defend that set, and you just can't react with 100%. That's what happens.
Nice work for the Kiwis to get themselves onto the board. Locked up here in the Women's Open Gold Medal match. Streamed live through the BBC as Davis just skips out, links back up with Susie McCall. Susie again driving in. They give early ball from half. Nice read out here. They're in trouble though, the Kiwis. Couldn't recover. So the outside winger did a really good job to come in on the previous touch, but just got herself into a bad position to recover, get back out on the short side. That was Patricia Hopcroft on that last touch. But
yeah, it was a great second phase play by Australia. Hayley Maddox got some good vision and skill. She was a big part of setting that up.
So back in front now, the Australians 2-1 on the scoreboard. The Kiwis, they'll be looking to hit back here. Oh, and there's a fumble, so just coming up out of the line, Hannah Dybel putting some pressure on at the Kiwi attacker there. Might have had a little look up at the defender coming straight at it and turns the ball over. Hennessy just tucking the ball under. Now they throw the football out to the left-hand side, so the wet conditions aren't holding the Australians back from progressing the football across their line at the moment. As Faith Nathan sends it back inside. Hopkin, Petey coming in from half, still crabbing across the field, Petey, but they're well numbered. They just throw the ball away there, the Aussies.
I'm impressed with the New Zealanders so far. The girls are going really well. They need to just stay in this game, keep the errors down and work their way down towards the Australian touchdown line.
And it makes a difference as well going away from quarters and then back into the 20 minutes, so you can really work yourself into the game and just get into that traditional grind of touch football, can't you?
Yes, the key for them will be not making errors early in the touch count.
So New Zealand again, they're working through the midfield.
There's Norman Bell. You can see her exceptional pace there and footwork.
And just couldn't be picked up there in the end from Elliott. So they'll roll it in pretty good territory position here. The the Australians, as Sargent tries to skip away. She's been told to go back to the mark. But it's touch one here to Australia.
New Zealand moving forward.
So Susie receives the ball again, turns it back into Davis. Maddock. The ball work in between the middles there. Might have caught him capping. McCall comes across and touch made. Nice scramble defence there from Stanton. They had him on the back foot. McCall got on the outside of Stanton, so she did well to turn and chase.
Yeah, Stanton had overcommitted on that touch, I feel, but she had the speed to recover and get back and get her with a dive. Good defence.
Maddock rebound out. They turn it back on the inside. 6 touch. So again, big defensive play there from Stanton. Backs it up on that previous diving touch. She was in cover on the inside. Great work there from Stanton. The Kiwis now, they're doing it tough. They're in the middle of the park and just having a little bit of a stumble. She'll go back to the mark and roll the ball. Kavanagh gets the ball back again here. Does Kavanagh. So they go back out. Norman Bell. Looking a little bit disjointed in this set, New Zealand. They're really struggling to get forward, but they send it into the middle. This is better. Here goes Wells. Look at the speed of Wells. She sends that extra pass. 6 more touches. So all off Tony Wells on that occasion because they were really struggling to get forward. She just uses her individual speed to get on the outside and get them going forward.
Yeah, she showed some great speed there, Tony Wells. It gives them another repeat set with that knockdown.
So they're driving into the line. Wells again, sweeping around the back, goes inside. Yes, the referee's happy. Yeah, links up nicely with Victoria Sycamore. Well, put that all down to Tony Wells. She was the one that got them up the field. Sweeps around the back, turns it on the inside. Great work, Tony Wells.
Yeah, set play by New Zealand there. Sweeper play with a follow inside. Scored off the follow, getting it down quick. Well done, New Zealand.
So we are locked back up here. 2 touchdowns apiece. The Australians and the Kiwis in this women's open gold medal match. Can the Australians respond? Hennessy. Look out for Quinlan sweeping around the back. They go away from her here. Hennessy gives the early ball to Dybel. They come back again into the middle of the field. Quinlan, early ball from Hennessy. Oh, they skip out the link, but just didn't have the power on the end to connect up with the wing on the outside right-hand side there for Australia.
New Zealand's defence is looking better and better. I'm liking it.
Yeah, great job from the Kiwis. They've managed to get themselves back into this match and lock it up. So good touchdowns. But yeah, as Pete Walters, as I say that, they've turned the ball over. Now the referees are actually coming together here. They're going to give a penalty to New Zealand. So
yeah, I think call from the sideline touch judge there. There might have been a knockdown, and the ball's gone back to New Zealand. So let's see them work down towards the Australian try line and set up for another attack. They need to go forward direct. They're starting up a little bit slow here.
So Norman Bell back onto the field again. Look at how she just kicks out away from the ruck consistently. Norman Bell just creates extra metres all the time for the Kiwis. Here she goes with the ball again. They come through the middle, juggled there and held on to. Nice switch back. Oh, but that final pass, unfortunately, just going off the hands of Stanton. So not the finish they would have been looking for there, Peter.
No, exactly. It looked like they nailed the number. She was cutting back when she should have really stayed in their outside line.
So Dybel coming across the field. There's more thunder and lightning in the background here. McCall. What a go. Sends it to Nathan. They come back into the middle of the park. Hopkins picks and goes from half. Works with Nathan. Now, has that come off in New Zealand? Defender's arms. I think it has, but the referee has indicated a penalty here to New Zealand. Touch and pass is the call, so they'll tap. And just going across the field there, Kavanagh. The changes on, dummy on the inside to Stanton. And Sycamore gets them over the halfway. Wells moves into half. Sycamore again, just going forward. They link up. Wells is directing traffic out there. She's working her way into half. There. Oh, it almost comes off there for the Kiwis. They just go that bat-on play. And Elliott just couldn't get hands on the ball at the end of that set there from New Zealand. So they turn the ball back in. This has been a real strong point here for the Australians. Again, they go direct with their first few rucks. Look for them to shift the ball here. They do.
That was something different from Australia, going down the far sideline for 3 touches. Just mixing it up well.
So Quinlan again, back to Maddock. Quinlan from half. Gets the ball, it'll be Maddock. That'll have a go this time. Comes off the right foot. Splits the New Zealand defenders. Links up nicely there with Laura Petey. And that was just Hayley Maddock just coming off that right foot and got the New Zealand defenders asking questions. Gets in a good support play there from Petey.
Yeah, Australia have got some great setters on attack. Hayley Maddock, Ash Quinlan. There's a whole raft of them. So it worked to perfection in that last set.
So back onto the ball now, the Kiwis. They'll be looking to hit back. Australia have reclaimed the lead. It's 3-2 on the scoreboard. Now they've got numbers out here on this left-hand side. Oh, it's picked off from Quinlan. She's taking the ball. Can she go the whole way? Look at this chase from the Kiwis. Links back up with Susie. Good cool head there from Susie. Takes the touch. They're still on the attack here as Petey heads out to this left-hand side. They just take time now. What a go taking the touch. Carney. Hopkins, back to Carney, here comes the sweep, they're still putting pressure on, Dybel, goes link ball, oh beautiful touch there, coming across in cover.
What a great covering touch from Jamie Colossi.
Huge play from Colossi. That might be a pivotal moment here in this set. Hennessy driving back to Dybel. They've got them stretched again. Well, McCall, it was just exactly almost that first play, wasn't it? They came back and ran it again. This time they get the chocolates.
Yeah, what a great sequence. They ran the play. They ran the exact same play again. Come back into the same hole with the same receiver. This time the defence wasn't up to it. Great try, Australia.
So for the first time in this match, the Australians extend to a 2-touchdown lead. And we're working into the back end of the first half now as Pone turns it back on the inside. Working again with Norman Bell. Oh, a little bit of a juggle there from Pone. They'll roll it right on the 5. Touch made. They come out to that left-hand side, but they're going to get a penalty here. Big lightning strike in the background brings the groan from the crowd. We're getting a little bit nervous. So I'm sure
not just excitement on the field, there's excitement in the sky.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure the tournament conditions we're keeping an eye on the radar at the moment as a dive from Kavanagh on the line. And bring it back out to the 5-metre line. Norman Bell and Kavanagh working together. They've linked up nicely so far in this match. Norman Bell, they've still got touches up their sleeve. Choose to kick out here, Norman Bell. They're pressing up nicely, the Australians in defence. Norman Bell come again. They just fire it out to the right-hand side, but they were well numbered on that occasion, the Australians. They weren't really under any defensive pressure on that occasion.
Yeah, I thought you might have thought there were 2 players, support players outside it, but it was just the wing and she threw over her head. Australia coming forward now, direct towards their box. There's big meters there, 2 touches there on halfway.
And flirting with the sideline, almost got a foot out there, Catherine Sargent. Play on is the call. Susie driving in nicely. Maddock back out onto the field, turns it into Quinlan. Here comes Carney on the sweep. Early ball to Susie, hands it on the outside. What a go gets the touchdown in the corner. That was a beautiful movement there from the Australians. Really nice touchdown.
Yes, great skill, a great vision and confidence within each other.
So 5-3 on the scoreboard now. Down by 3, the Kiwis. The danger signs starting to show. The Australians have a handy lead in this Women's Open gold medal match. And the Kiwis, they'll be looking to strike back here.
Yes, they really need to score the next one. If they let Australia score, the game may get away on them.
So they're going to get... I thought the referee might have been indicating a penalty, but he pulls up. And it is half-time here, and that touchdown right before the half-time hooter might prove costly there. Australia, really good first half, but New Zealand were in the grind for a good period of time there, Peter, but the Australians at the end, just getting that final touchdown, gives them the ascendancy going into the second half.
Yes, New Zealand certainly improved, I feel, from the last Trans-Tasman. It's some of these systems look a lot tighter. The Australians aren't sort of breaching them hard or getting away on them hard. It's a lot closer. The defenders are more in tight. They're more understanding of their systems, I feel.
So it's Australia who go into the halftime break with the lead. The current score in the Women's Open gold medal match is Australia 5, New Zealand 2. Well, we have an update here in the Women's Open Grand Final match. Unfortunately, you might have seen as the cameras would have been pointing out onto the field, there has been some more lightning strikes and they're in a really close distance to the fields here at Putrajaya. The call has been made from the tournament committee to suspend play in this Women's Open match. So both teams will make their way into their tunnels as we see another really close lightning strike coming down. So no doubt the right call has been made from the officials. The safety of the players, the officials and the spectators is paramount here. So play has been suspended in the Women's Open final and hopefully this storm will pass and we can come back with the second half of the Women's Open gold medal match very shortly.